Welcome.
Hi,
So,
John.
John, to the evening session. Um, yeah, any thoughts on the lesson before we go into it? This afternoon session.
No, I think I'm good. I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Happy with that? Okay. Let's dive into this then. We'll go straight into the text. Today's section is called At Home in God. It's a short one, just 4 paragraphs, and then we'll close it out with a meditation. So, do you want to start, John?
Yep. At home in God, pure formless awareness. You do not know your creations, your extensions, simply because you would decide against them as long as your mind is split. And to attack what you have created, extended, is impossible. But remember that it is as impossible for God. The law of creation extension is that you love your creations as yourself, because they are part of you. Everything that was created, extended, is therefore perfectly safe, because the laws of God, pure formless awareness, protect it by his love. Any part of your mind that does not know this has banished itself from knowledge, because it has not met its conditions. Who could have done this but you? Recognize this gladly, for in this recognition lies the realization that your banishment is not of God and therefore does not exist.
Okay, I want to do some translations there.
Oh, I thought I did actually as I went on, but okay.
You missed a few, but never mind. As you reflect on it, maybe just
Okay.
from the top. Any thoughts on number 1, sentence 1?
Well, it's a bit. Let's get our heads around that sentence 1. You do not know your creations simply because you would decide against them as long as your mind is split. And by creations, it means extensions, which could be acts of goodwill, acts of kindness, miracles. We do not know our creations, our acts of goodwill, simply because you would decide against them as long as you split. So we wouldn't be able to see them, realize them, if our mind is split.
Yeah, I don't think he's referring to actions here.
Okay.
He's never clear. He doesn't actually define what your creations are, but he's talking on the level of the mind. So your creations or your extensions are states of mind, states of being, emotions.
Okay.
So things like love, peace, joy, those states of mind is what he's referring to, rather than physical acts. They may express themselves in physical acts, but that would be a miracle rather than a creation.
Wow.
I think creation's referring to the level of the mind. He's not talking about miscreation in this context, because miscreation is the making of the world of illusions by the ego. So he's saying your extensions are in the mind, and these are the extensions of God. They're the same extensions of love, God, pure formless awareness are in your mind, extending from the source of your mind into your mind, and then you experience them. So if you're experiencing a state of love, if you're experiencing peace, if you're experiencing joy, then these are the extensions of love or pure formless awareness in and through you. And that may express in this world as an act of kindness, as a kind word, doing something for someone, etc. But then that would be on a different level. It's the miracle then. The miracle involves time and space and action and form, whereas creation doesn't. As I understand, he uses it. I suppose I could be misinterpreting it, but he never talks about creation in the context of time and space. He's always talking about it as on the level of mind, and your creation and God's creations are the same. So we use the word extension because creation is a bit of a misnomer. There's nothing that's been created from new. It's always been there. As long as your mind is split, to attack what you've created is impossible. Remember, it is impossible for God or love.
So he's saying that our creations, we do not know our creations, and because we would decide against them as long as our mind is split. And to attack what you have created is impossible.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's a bit disjointed, that sentence. It's kind of like, makes sense to me. You do not know your creation simply because you would decide against them as long as your mind is split. A different concept coming in, a different notion.
No, not really.
And to attack what you
do not know your creations, well, then that's an attack on what you have created. So is then the second part of the sentence, and to attack what you have created or extended is impossible.
Okay. So you do not know your creations, which is
implies that you attack them, that you deny them.
Okay.
Attack what you have then created or extended is actually impossible. So you can't really attack these states of love and peace and joy. It's not really possible, although the ego has convinced you that it is. You've simply denied them and accepted something else, the substitute into your mind. Okay, happy with that?
Yeah. But remember that it is as impossible so it is also impossible for God.
For love or pure formless awareness.
Yeah.
Because we are the extension of him, of that source.
Yeah.
So if it's impossible for him, then it must be impossible for us as the extension of pure formless awareness. Because it's really only one awareness. Your awareness, when you merge it with God's or love's, is that awareness. So what's possible for you is possible for God. What's impossible for you must also be impossible for that awareness.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then the law of creation is that you love your creations as yourself because they're part of you. So that makes sense.
Well, translate it as extensions because I think it's more meaningful. Extensions as yourself. So your state of love and peace and joy is an extension of your mind.
Okay, the law of extension is that you love your extensions as yourself because they are part of you.
You extend from your true self, your true nature, which is one with God, and then this state of mind is now extended into these states, experiences that we have.
Yeah.
And they must be as we are. Comes from love, then they must be part of you. The extensions of that. This is the law of creation. The law of extension he's teaching us, which is perfectly logical. How can a source that's extending itself not be like its extension? That doesn't make any sense. It must be of the same quality and likeness as the extension must be the same as the source.
Yeah. Everything that was created is therefore perfectly safe because the laws of love protect it by its love. So everything is perfectly safe because they have all been, and they are all kind of, because they are extensions of pure formless awareness, they are they exist and exist forever.
Yeah.
Any part of your mind.
Creation is eternal. Extension is eternal. It's never not been. So it's perfectly safe because it comes from love, and the laws of love protect it by its love. The laws of pure formless awareness protect it by its love. So this idea of this pure formless awareness just extending out, and these states of mind, love and peace and joy, are part of that. They're part of that pure formless awareness, and we experience its extension in our own mind when we experience these states. It's all in one line. And then he goes on, number 5.
Yes, any part of your mind that does not know this has already banished itself from knowledge because it has not met its conditions. It didn't. Didn't match up.
Yeah. Has not met its conditions. So knowledge is whole, knowledge is one. Knowledge implies that you're united with your source. And so your mind, the ego mind, the belief in separation, has split itself off from this, banished itself from knowledge because it hasn't met the conditions of knowledge, which are the laws of love, which you just explained. The law of extension, the source extends, it's perfectly safe, it's all happening in one line. As soon as you decide against that, you split yourself off from it. And we banish ourselves from knowledge, which is this domain of pure formless awareness, perfect love. And we now have another idea going on in our minds, another awareness. Okay, number 6.
So who could have done this but you? Okay, there's only ourselves that could have done it. And recognize this gladly, for in this recognition lies the realization that your banishment is not of God, and therefore does not exist. So let's recognize that we haven't actually banished God, and therefore whatever wrong thought was going on does not exist.
Yeah. So it's entirely our own invention. We've said God's abandoned us because that's a projection of our own decision. We say, well, God has now abandoned us, and he appears to be distant and actually quite fearful and wrathful and vengeful. So he's a distant God, but he's close enough to punish us. This is the kind of insanity of the ego. And we project our own decision to deny this onto God. Of course, none of it's true. So he's saying, who could have done this but you? Only your own mind, seemingly apart from God, from love, or pure formless awareness, could have done this. Recognize this gladly. In this recognition lies the realization that your banishment is not of love. So love never banished you. It was just a tiny mad idea in your own head, which you believed, in your own mind. And because it's not of God, it doesn't exist. It's only what comes from God, love, does exist. Okay. So the logic, again, it's flawless. It's this perfect non-dual knowledge. He's saying you just have to accept this and let go of this ridiculous idea that you are separate from it, and even more so that you banished from it. This is the fundamental belief of the ego, as expressed most famously, I guess, in that myth of Adam and Eve, banished from the Garden of Eden. And apparently God did it to them because they were bad and they needed to be punished. So there's a classic expression of this ego thought system. It's like, oh, I've done something wrong. I feel like I'm guilty. I feel like I've done something bad. So I'm now fearing, and now this fearful, wrathful, vengeful God is going to punish me. And that story is a classic expression of that whole psychosis, really, of the ego, which it simply isn't true. It's not of God. God never banished you. The state of mind is still there. That's why it's very helpful to think of it as a state. It's a state of mind, of states of being in pure formless awareness, perfect love, perfect oneness. It's a state, and that didn't banish you. You decided, a crazy part of your mind that believed in the tiny mad idea decided that it no longer wanted to be in that state, and that it preferred a state of separation. And that is what then invented the ego and everything that comes from it. And so the state remains. It's a potential always, but as long as you keep denying it, you're never going to find it. You're never going to experience it again. So it's simply your decision. Yes, I choose to become aware of it. Today's lesson, I choose the light. I will there be light. I will, again, that I experience this light, that I'm in this true awareness. Because it was my decision not to be in it, so I must decide, reverse that decision, and decide that I do want this. In fact, I only want this, and I'm therefore willing to let go of all of the substitutes, which is this whole mad dream that comes from the idea of separation. Okay, happy with 7? Do you want to give a little summary of that?
What we in whatever ways that we deny God, we are kidding ourselves, because we are always joined, and whatever we create through love, whatever thought we create through love, continues.
Yeah. It's part of us, and then the second part of the paragraph.
So everything that has been created that is is a pure extension of pure formless awareness still exists, and only our split mind can deny it.
Yeah.
And we have not banished God.
Yeah. Your banishment is not coming from God, any kind of force outside of you. Your banishment from that state of pure formless awareness or perfect love is your own. You decided that you would banish yourself from it. And so it's quite within your power to decide again. So I've changed my mind. I actually want it now. I'll have it back. And because it's always been there, it's an available state. If we choose it, then our mind once again experiences that state, and we once again one with it, and the delusions of the ego simply disappear. So again, very, very, very simple teaching, saying it's just all in your own awareness. So you must choose it. You must invite it back in. You weren't banished. It was just your own decision. So the responsibility again is on us. We must change our minds, make a better choice. Okay, happy with first paragraph?
Yeah.
You are at home in pure formless awareness or love, dreaming of exile, but perfectly capable of awakening to reality. Is it your decision to do so? You recognize from your own experience that what you see in dreams you think is real while you are asleep. Yet the instant you waken, you realize that everything that seemed to happen in the dream did not happen at all. You do not think this strange, even though all the laws of what you awakened to were violated while you slept. Is it not possible that you merely shifted from one dream to another without really waking?
Okay. Very interesting idea in there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, he's bringing up this idea of us, of the world that we're in being an illusory dream.
Yeah.
And that
So,
when we,
Mhm.
in our own experience, when we dream, we think it's real. But then when we wake up, we realize it was only a dream.
Yeah, we've all had that experience, especially if it's a bad dream. So, okay, thank goodness that was only a dream. And there's kind of a sense of relief, and you realize it was just a dream that has no reality. You can just let it go. So, when it says you do not think the strange, the instant you awaken, you realize that everything that seemed to happen in the dream did not happen at all. Not think the strange, even though all the laws of what you awakened to were violated while you slept. So in dreams, there's all kinds of stuff that can happen that doesn't follow the laws of this world. It says, well, this is the case in your with your dreams. How do you know that you really awoke? How do you know that you really woke up?
Yeah.
It's not possible that you merely shifted from one dream to another without really waking. Okay? So there's waking dreams and sleeping dreams, but they're both dreams, just different forms of the dream. Because the waking dream seems to be more real. We have touch and taste and sight and sound, all the stuff, all the physical senses seem to confirm to us that it's very real. But how would we know? How would you know you're really awake?
Yeah, how would you?
It's like asking a fish, swimming in the ocean, well, what's water? And the fish goes, I don't understand the question. That's all I know. What's water? Can't answer that because I'm in it. I'm so in it that I don't know there's anything else other than that. It's the same thing. We're dreaming. This reality seems to be so all embracing and all encompassing that we go, well, yeah, this is it. What's eternity? We go, well, what's that? I don't. Well, we ask like, well, what's reality? A lot of people go, well, you're a bit cooked. This is reality. Here we go. Like you can see it, feel it, touch it, taste it, perceive it. It must be real. Well, of course, obvious. And don't even question that maybe the whole thing's a setup of the mind. Very elaborate. I mean, my goodness, look at what we've done to convince ourselves that the dream is true. Such an elaborate deception. All the body that we've had to invent, and then a personal identity, and then the body's senses. I mean, oh my goodness, like we perceive all of this as true and real. We see it, feel it, touch it, taste it. We've got 5 senses. All seems to be incredibly real. What a setup. This is the extent the ego's gone to convince itself that it's real. It has to have invented this whole construct. But how do you know that you're really awake? How do you know that this is true reality? You don't. Your senses tell you, but maybe your senses are part of the whole setup. Maybe they're part of the dream.
Yeah.
So this is what the mystics have always questioned. Said, well, maybe it's just all a dream. And if you start going within and doing these kinds of practices we're doing, like meditation and quieting the mind and starting to connect with a deeper presence, then you do start to get the feeling experientially that, okay, maybe all is not what it seems. Maybe this world of sense perceptions isn't really as true as I thought it was. Maybe that deeper inner state, maybe that's the truth beyond sense perceptions. When I go deep into meditation, I'm in this beautiful, peaceful, calm state. I'm not really aware of my senses at all. Maybe that's reality. And so this is what all the masters and the sages and the saints and the mystics discover by going within. Oh, actually, there's a very peaceful, reality there. There's a beautiful awareness, and it has absolutely nothing to do with sense perceptions and with the world. It's independent of those. And as they get better and better at it, they can just drop into that and go, well, why would I want to stay in the dream world when I can have this waking state of pure formless awareness? Just be aware of that. And it's really beautiful and peaceful and blissful. Why would I then want the world of perception? Why would I want the dream world? And so they start going more and more within and choosing that over sense perceptions in the dream. Okay, so does that second paragraph make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you summarize it briefly?
So he's really saying, well, how do we know we're not still in a dream?
And if you're honest about it, how do you know? You think you hear because you can perceive. You've got sense perceptions. And there seems to be an experience they give you. You can see, feel, touch, taste, smell. Okay, well, I must be here. But how do you know that's true? As you know, Byron Katie's 2 questions. Do you know it's true? And can you absolutely know that it's true? And the answer is you can't. There's no way you can absolutely know it's true, because there's no independent verification of your perception. This is why there's no really objective observer, even in scientific experiments, because the observer is part of the experiment, as they discovered in quantum mechanics. So you can't really remove yourself from reality. Your perceptions are bound up with the so-called reality we think we're in. And the observer is integral to the whole thing. So hence, there's no reality in the absence of observation. It's a Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics. So without the observation, without the perception that your senses give you, there would be no reality. Wow. Okay, so my whole reality is a perceptual reality. What I perceive as reality is based on my perceptions of it, and that alone. And that's all I can say. It's perceptual. It's not, I don't know for sure that that's true. And so, you know, this question that he asks, if we're honest about it, yeah, well, how would we know? Is it not possible that you merely shifted from one dream to another without really waking? How would we know the difference? Except by referencing to another reality, you see. So this is why the meditation, spiritual practices, because you're connecting with this deeper awareness, and you're referencing to that. Now it becomes, okay, well, the contrast between this world and world of sense perceptions and Maya, illusion, and this world of pure formless awareness, you see there's a very big difference, and they don't really reconcile. So now you have another reality to reference by, which is why the spiritual practice is so important. Because if you don't do it, how will you know? There will never be another experience other than your sense perceptions. So one of the ego's biggest defenses is to keep you in the domain of sense perceptions, to keep your mind attached to it, seeking them. That's the desire we talked about this afternoon with the lesson. Desire, expectancy for some kind of sensory gratification. And then the grievance when we don't get it. And of course, that makes the sense perceptions real. It makes the dream real. And that's always what the ego is trying to do. Okay, happy with number 2?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would you bother to reconcile what happened in conflicting dreams, or would you dismiss both together if you discovered that reality is in accord with neither? You do not remember being awake. When you hear the Holy Spirit, the awareness of oneness, you may feel better because loving then seems possible to you. But you do not remember yet that it once was so. And it is in this remembering that you will know it can be so again. What is possible has not yet been accomplished, yet what has once been is so now, if it is eternal. When you remember, you will know that what you remember is eternal, and therefore is now.
Okay.
So it's saying here, well, you know, if we had conflicting dreams, we would dismiss them both. If we can see that reality is neither of them. And we don't actually remember this state of pure formless awareness, but we are drawn to it. We do hear an echo of it when we hear the voice of the Holy Spirit, the awareness of oneness. And he's pointing out that we will know again pure formless awareness, because partly because it's always been with us anyway.
Yeah, well, wholly because of that, because it's always been true. It's the foundation of your mind. Eventually, your mind will return to it. It's inevitable. It's a done deal.
And what we remember is eternal. What we do remember is eternal.
So you see the paradox. See, number 5 and 6 seems to be a contradiction.
Yeah.
Because he's talking on these two levels. What is possible has not yet been accomplished. Okay, so that's in time, in the domain of time, space. So it's possible, but it has not yet been accomplished. That seems to be the case for us. Yeah, what's possible to know the truth again, to know love, is possible, but it hasn't yet been accomplished fully. So that's our current kind of state of reality in the dream. Yet, he says, what has once been is so now, if it is eternal. Okay, so it once was, you were in a state of pure formless awareness, and then chose to depart from that. But what has once been is so now. That state of mind is still available, still there for you. What you remember is eternal, and therefore is now. Okay, so the eternal is related to the now. Now is out of time. Now is just an instant. That's always there, always available. It's never changed. The now has never changed. So it's eternal, and it's this little opening, this crack in the ego's thought system that takes you back to God and heaven and oneness. Is this idea of now. It's a portal to eternity. Think of it that way. Might be helpful. And now is the portal to eternity. It's the closest approximation of eternity in this world that you can get. Being completely in the now, which is why it feels good. It's why the now and spiritual teachings, every spiritual teaching of that's authentic teaches the same thing. Be in the now. Don't allow your mind to wander off in the past and the future, because these are not real. Okay, I want to give a little summary of that. Any questions on it?
Well, I think it's just pointing out again that we live in a dream most of the time, but when we connect with Holy Spirit, we start to remember what we once knew, which is also attained through being in the now. And we can, once we remember, once we reconnect, we can return to it.
Yeah. So yet as what as was once been is so now, if it is eternal. So the paradox is it seems to be a possible state. It's not yet been accomplished, but in truth, it must be now. If it is eternal. So when you remember, you'll know that what you remember is eternal and therefore is now. So part of this remembering is remembering now. Being completely rooted in the present moment means that you're back in that eternal state. You cannot help but recognize that this state of now is eternal, that there's this eternal presence, shall we call it, that's underlies every moment. The holy instant, Jesus calls. So the holiness that underlies every moment, and you can't help but feel that. And then you move from the possibility of it to an actual experience of it, to a present experience of it, and therein is the resolution of the apparent paradox. You experience the eternal now in your own awareness, and then you've remembered it. You've remembered what was always there. So it's just now in your awareness, whereas before it was denied from your awareness. Okay?
Yeah.
Happy with number 3?
Yeah.
And number 4.
You will remember everything the instant you desire it wholly. For if to desire wholly is to create, extend, you will have willed away the separation, returning your mind simultaneously to your source and your extensions. Knowing them, you will have no wish to sleep, but only the desire to waken and be glad. Dreams will be impossible because you will want only truth, and being at last your will, it will be yours.
Okay. Thoughts on that?
That's one of these lovely final paragraphs, isn't it?
Yeah. And we can do a little
Feel good
meditation on it. Yeah. And we can do a little meditation. I'll weave it into the meditation. But let's discuss it first.
So the instant, the moment we actually desire our awakening wholly is when we will have let go of the idea of separation, return to source.
Yeah. To desire wholly is to create or to extend. Maybe read sentence 1 with extend instead of create and creations.
You will remember everything the instant you desire it wholly. For if to desire wholly is to extend, you will have willed away the separation, returning your mind simultaneously to your source and your extensions.
Okay, does that make sense? Desire wholly is to create. Kind of quite connected with the lesson today, really. So you look at this lesson.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
What is he saying? You know, I mean, he's asking us to will. The will is desire, really. I will there be light. Right? I want only the light. That's what he's saying. I will there be light. It's kind of a strange use of will. Most people, so I changed it to I choose, right? But there's a choice. So there's a desire only for that, right? I will only that there be this light, this true awareness. I want only that. So to desire wholly is then the extension of that awareness. If I desire it wholly, then it becomes my state. Same way as the desire kicked off. The desire for another state of mind, for a separate state, kicked this off. The same way, desiring the other way, desiring God or love or oneness, wholly, completely, without any other desire, must then bring that state into your awareness. That's what he's saying. To desire wholly is to create or to merge with that being that you are, and then extend it. So he's asking us to want only this, want only love, and then you will have whirled away the separation, because you simply don't desire it anymore. Without desire, it has no belief. Without belief, it has no power, and it simply disappears as a thought system. Okay, so happy with the first part of the sentence?
Yeah.
And then second part, returning your mind simultaneously to your source and your extensions. So by willing wholly, by desiring it wholly, we return our mind to pure formless awareness. If we desire only pure formless awareness, then that desire takes us into pure formless awareness. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
And then our extensions, our creations, come from that. So from the state of pure formless awareness that we've accepted through our whole intent, our whole desire for it, we then extend love, peace, joy, these states of mind, states of being that are part of pure formless awareness, that come from it, hence they extend from it. Okay, so that's quite an important point, the desiring wholly.
Yeah.
To create. So you've got to want this and only this, which is kind of what he's saying all along. He's saying, look, choose this and only this. You can't, because you can't choose both. You can't say I want only this and then still have other ideas that you cherish. Okay, number 2.
Knowing them, i.e., your source and your extensions, you will have no wish to sleep, but only the desire to waken and be glad. So once we know this pure formless awareness and are in it and are extending love, we're going to have no wish to go back to the dream.
Knowing them, he's talking about your creations or extensions. So as you come to know these states of love, peace, and joy, you have no wish to sleep. Sleeping is just a metaphor for unawareness. You have no wish to be unaware of these. Again, because they're so lovely, they're so beautiful. But only the desire to awaken and be glad. And so our desire has made us whole. Our desire has taken us back into the truth of what we are, this state of pure formless awareness. And we've relinquished all other desires, because we realize we're just going back to sleep, and that's not what we want. Okay? Happy with number 3?
Yeah, dreams will be impossible because you will want only truth, and being at last your will, it will be yours.
Okay? It makes sense. It ties in with this whole thing of whole desire. You want to summarize the paragraph?
So when we desire something wholly, we will start again. So to desire wholly is to extend We desire to be in pure formless awareness and in love, peace, and joy, and want only that. We will extend it out and we'll have no desire to go back to sleep again, because we will be so because we will be so full of love, peace, and joy.
So knowing them is your source and your extensions. So you're connected to the source, and now it's extending through you and experiencing this lovely states of peace, love, joy. These are creations or extensions. So knowing these, the experience is going to be so amazing that you don't want anything else. It becomes obvious, well, nothing else really compares. So only the desire to awaken and be glad. Only the desire for that, this amazing peace, the love, the joy, this inner state, it starts to become more and more attractive, and the dreams simply fade away. Now, without your desire for them, this is what he's saying. Remember, what kicked off the whole thing was your desire. And then the idle wishes, the expectations of the ego keep it going. So without any desire, it simply can't sustain. So desiring only God means we've relinquished all desire for anything else. We've let go of that desire for a separate self, the separate identity. Along with that goes the grievances. Grievances and desire are connected. So by desiring only this, we must let go of all other desires, drop them, and then that desire leads us back into that state. We have to start experiencing this state of pure formless awareness and its effects or extensions, which are love and peace and joy. And when we do that, well, dreams are simply impossible. We go, well, this is just crazy, makes no sense, and I'm really not going to go back to sleep and dream. I want only truth. Being at last your will, it will be yours. Okay, so I'm going to summarize the whole section. So kind of the key message here.
Saying that our our true home is with pure formless awareness. We can need to, or we can desire to go there, but we'll never get there with a split mind. But it is our choice.
And how do we know that we're not dreaming?
Yeah, that's the big first part of it is, how would you know you're dreaming? How would you know you're awake? How do you know it's not just another dream? And so he's saying, remember, your way out of the dreaming state. Question it first, and then remember both your source and its extensions. As you experience love, peace, and joy, you must remember your source, because it's the source of those states, and so then your mind is really one with the source. And I think the other key point is the desire. So desire it wholly, desire only that. If you desire only God and his kingdom, the state of pure formless awareness, then you must let go of your desire for anything else. Which is what he keeps emphasizing. It's this or that. So desire this only, and your desire for it only, your whole desire will bring you into alignment with it. It will bring the state into your mind. It has to. If you desire only God, then that's the only state that you allow into your mind. And then you come to know it as yourself. Okay, so does that make sense? Any questions?
Yeah.
Just another way of saying the same thing, every time saying same thing, just using different language, but always pointing us out of the dream back to the source. And you can see that reflected in the diagram. Okay, so happy with that pretty short paragraph. Any questions? Shall we do a meditation on it?
Yeah.
Okay, you need a little break?
I'm okay, actually.
Okay. Sue, you just
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So just making yourself comfortable, sitting with your feet shoulder width apart, or standing in John's case. Keep your back straight. Close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. So breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Blowing the stomach up like a balloon. Imagine light. It helps you, a golden or white light. If you don't visualize well, just a sense of lightness coming into the stomach, clenching the sphincter muscle. It's the muscle used to contract the flow of urine. It's also the root lock in yoga. So it locks the energy in. And then you feel like you're drawing this energy up the spine. And visualize again a warm wave of energy or column of energy, column of golden or white light flowing up the spine from the base into your heart center. Put one hand on your heart. Connecting with your heart space, just breathing it in. Drawing the light in. And then draw it all the way up into your upper back, all the way up into the crown of your head. And just pausing at the top of the inhale. Feel the light infusing every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. And say to yourself, how will there be light? In other words, I choose only true awareness. Let me behold or perceive the light, the true awareness that reflects God's will, love's awareness, and mine. So as you breathe in, you breathe this awareness into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. Seeing the light. Experience it fully. If there's any darkness or any unawareness, limited awareness. So thoughts of the world, grievances, attack thoughts, fear, irritation, anger, desires for worldly things. These are all false and illusory. They deny the truth, what you really are, which is pure, formless awareness. So just blow them all away with the breeze of your breath. You breathe the light in. Imagine you going above the clouds, high above the clouds. You're in the blue sky of your true awareness. The light of your source is shining through it. You look down on these cloud patterns and they're just very insignificant. And you see that they're so impermanent. They just shift and change all the time. And so just blow them away, the power to let them all go, and merge your mind with the blue sky of your pure formless awareness and the light of your source that shines through it all. And blow it all away with the breeze of your breath to the nothingness that it really is. And it all go, surrendering it. Just resting here at the bottom of the exhale, peace and stillness for a few moments. Pull the lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. So just merge your mind into this awareness. Just pure formless awareness. And nothing else. Say to yourself, I choose only true awareness. I will there be light. Darkness or limited awareness is not my will. It's not my choice to choose idle wishes and grievances instead of this pure formless awareness. So sinking inwards to this awareness, just allow it to arise in your mind, to envelop you and encompass you. Start to realize that there's nowhere the light is not. This awareness is everywhere. It's your awareness. It's the awareness of your source. It's everyone else's awareness. There is no other awareness. So sink into this awareness deeper and deeper with each breath. Just watch the breaths. Observe subtle sensations of the breath flowing in to the nostrils, flowing out of the nostrils. Notice how the stomach rises and the stomach falls. By just observing the subtle sensations of the breath, take your mind out of the attachment to form and sense perceptions, and it's just a free-floating awareness. It's able to perceive these things, to be aware of them, but not to identify with them. Not to say to you, I am that. I am my body, I am my sense perceptions, I am my idle wishes, I am my grievances. It's all part of the detachment process. So just observe the breath flowing into the nostrils and out of the nostrils. Notice how you're feeling very calm, very peaceful, very detached from the whole dream. You recognize that it is really a dream. How would you know the difference between your waking and your sleeping dreams, says Jesus tonight's text reading? How would you know? Unless you have some reference point, some higher or deeper reference point. This is what you're asking for now, asking for the guidance. Sinking inwards. Listen to these final words from today's text reading, the final paragraph. We will remember everything the instant you desire it wholly. Or if to desire wholly is to create or extend, you will have willed away the separation, turning your mind simultaneously to your creator or source and your creations or extensions. So have a sense of that. You're sinking inwards to your source. And your extensions are the love and the peace and the joy that you experience. And maybe you want to share those. So you have a sense of, as you exhale, just extending these gifts, the love, the peace, the joy to everyone you know, friends, family, acquaintances, social network, and so on. Feel it extending out through you. So by the extensions of this awareness, the love, the peace, the joy that we feel, we come to know it as ourselves. So knowing them, knowing your source and your extensions, you will have no wish to sleep, but only the desire to awaken and be glad. So your whole desire is given to God. In some traditions, they just say desire only God. Want only God and nothing else. And that's an approach that's going to take you back into that state of awareness. If you desire something holy, then we create it. We are in it. Create means to be in the being of it, to be in the awareness of it. This is knowledge. So if you know this, you know your source and its extensions, the beauty and the power of these, and you will have no wish to sleep. The mad dream of the ego will have no attraction, but only the desire to awaken and be glad. Only awaken. And right now, in your mind, the next couple of minutes of deep silence, you can experience this knowledge. This is not something that's going to happen in the future. It's happening right now, in the now. So dreams will be impossible because you'll want only truth, being at last your will, being at last your sole desire. It will be yours. And so just sinking inwards to this place beyond dreams, into your own true awareness. For a couple of minutes of deep silence. If any thoughts seem to arise, any idle wishes, expectations, any grievances, expectations violated, things you thought should have happened that didn't happen, seem to justify frustration, anger, even a mild irritation, just notice, observe, breathe into them, breathing in the light, your true awareness, light beyond these clouds, Raise your mind above the cloud patterns, above the battleground, Jesus calls it, into the blue sky of your pure formless awareness. Let the light of this awareness shine through. And experience the creation, your beingness, the oneness with your source, and the extensions. So as you exhale, you're just going to blow these away with the breeze of your breath. Imagine they're like clouds just being blown away into the nothingness they really are. Letting them go. And what remains is just this beautiful, brilliant blue sky. Your pure formless awareness and the light of your source that shines through it. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Just merge with this source, merge with this state of pure formless awareness. Let the light shine through your mind. You desire this wholly, completely. The dreams have no reality for you anymore. They have no desire, no attraction for you. You have no desire for them. The cloud patterns are always shifting and changing. Why would you want to be caught up in those? In the dark, in a little glimpse of light, then in the dark again, compared with this brilliant awareness of light in your mind. So just sink into it, surrender into it. And a couple of minutes of deep contemplative silence. Just accept the source of what you are, who you are. Merge with it. There's nowhere where you begin and it ends. You are one with it. It is one with you. It extends through you. So you experience love, peace, and joy. You think of anyone else and you hold them in this awareness. You can only experience love. These are your true extensions, your creations or extensions. So have a sense of this source in your mind extending through you as you exhale and you breathe. You just, as an extending it, extending the light to all of your family and your friends, loved ones, acquaintances, social network. And don't stop there. Breathe it in again, breathe the light in and feel this source in your mind. And you're going to once more extend it outward. Your breath extended to all the world, so don't stop. It's just your very limited network of friends and family. It's the entire human race. Feel this extension coming through you, extending outwards. You share the love and the peace and the joy that you feel within you. Extend them outwards, and by your extensions you come to know that this is what you are. Your source must be love, must be loving, it must be peaceful, it must be joyful. So just surrender into this experience fully, completely for another couple of minutes of deep contemplative silence. And so just gently coming back, bringing your awareness back into the body, the breath and the senses and the world. And on the count of 3, bring your mind back into this reality, the dream reality, but as referencing from the state of pure formless awareness. Everything. So on the count of 1, just breathing in, noticing stomach rise and the chest rise. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. So the energy rises up the spine into your heart center, clenching the sphincter muscle, locking the energy in. Drawing the energy up the spine to the crown of your head, pausing at the top of the inhale. Again, scan your mind, notice any thoughts, any emotions going on. Be particularly vigilant for idle wishes, expectations, and grievances. Observe the thoughts, the emotions, the sensations, and be willing just to let them go. Remind yourself that I will there be light, as I choose only true awareness, and darkness or limited awareness is not my choice. It's not my will. Blow all the darkness away like dark clouds. It's leaving you, blowing them away into the nothingness they really are. And you rest for a few moments in the peace of your pure formless awareness, the light shine through. This little gap between breaths, you notice peace that arises, a little portal to eternity. So now, in the now, you observe on the count of 2 the weight of your body pressing down into chair, your feet touching the ground. You notice as you breathe in any smell in your nose. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth. Notice that. Notice what you're hearing. But without any judgment. You don't interpret, judge, label any of it. Just allow it to be as it is, without interpretation or judgment. The ego would be nothing. It's only your interpretations and your judgments that give the illusions meaning and give them some kind of power in your mind to affect you. So you're practicing non-judgmental perception, non-judgmental awareness in these mind training exercises we do during the meditations at the end of the meditation to help you to let go of this judgmental mind that keeps you trapped in the dream world. And so just anchor the state of pure formless awareness. It's peaceful, it's calm, it's quiet, very comforting. Notice it. Set the intention to stay there. As Jesus says, when you desire something holy, then it is yours. So I want this, only the light, my true awareness. This and only this. I'm willing to let go of all other awareness. Darkness or unawareness, limited awareness is not my will. I want only the light. Will there be light? So this intention, open your eyes, the count of 3. Just take a minute to look around, observing the objects in the room around you without any judgment. So whatever you see, let your eyes rest for a few seconds on it. And you just notice it without thought. and then move on to something else. Again, notice it without thought as just an awareness that underlies your perception. Do that for half a dozen objects. You start noticing that it doesn't really matter what your body's eyes perceive or what you hear, what you touch, taste, feel, the body senses. This awareness that really underlies all of it. So you become more and more identified with this awareness. This is the light of our lesson. And so you are living in the light then, rather than the darkness. Limited awareness gets you to focus on sense perceptions, gets you to focus on what's apparently real in the dream, and make it all real, and then create all kinds of idle wishes and grievances, which are the limited awareness, the darkness that he speaks of. So to help you stay in the light, practice today's lesson frequently. Recommend several times an hour. It only needs to take a second or two, a few seconds. And if you like to top yourself up before you go to bed, I've sent you some longer recordings as well that you can listen to practice this one more time. Go to bed on a very light note. So thank you, Sue and John, for joining the session, and I will see you tomorrow. We have I think if we can do tomorrow at the normal time, but if we can split the sessions, because we've got power cuts, so I have to kind of juggle between the power cuts. So if we do an afternoon session and then an evening session, break it into two rather than doing it in one. Is that okay?
We can't do tomorrow evening though.
Can't you? Okay, you're going out. All right.
We've got a band practice.
Okay. So has your band practice switched to a Wednesday?
Well, it's an extra one because we've got a concert on the 1st of May.